Oh yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out the Evangelion Unit 02 RG kit. So we took a look at Unit 0, we took a look at Unit 1, and now we're going to take a look at Unit 2. And it comes with all the same weapons, except actually this one does finally come with a new weapon, So while Unit 0 and Unit 1 both also had a DX version available, there's no DX version of Unit 2 this time around. I kind of wish that they would have made one and they would have had the DX version of Unit 2 include maybe the big massive shield. Not really anything to do with Unit 2 necessarily, but if you already have the DX set of Unit 0, then with the big massive sniper rifle, and then if you got the shield with this set, then you could recreate, that scene from the anime or something like that. Just something big that they could have included with this kit to kind of go with your RG Eva kits in general, not necessarily with this one, but just my thoughts on that. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the Eva Unit 02 here. It looks pretty cool. So we got typical style box art here on the front with just some CG images of the Eva Unit 2. It looks great. As we take it around to the side, basically just going to be the same thing there. So let's go ahead and check out the bottom of the box. And here's letting you know it's going to be 175 millimeters tall once it's all assembled. And basically a look at some of the articulation. As we know, as we've already built two different RG Eva kits now, we know the articulation of these is really, really nice. It's pretty amazing. You can do all the poses you would ever want to do, basically. There's a look at just the head, and you can see all the parts that are going into just the head for that really awesome color separation. Although I do kind of wish that the head would split apart so that you could see the eyes in there. It would have been a really cool feature of this. I know probably would have been asking a little much of that, but I really think that would have been pretty awesome. And then over here, a look at what the kit is going to look like just straight out of the box, built up, stickered up, and everything. It does look pretty good, of course. Like I just mentioned, the color separation on these is really nice. And then here on the top of the box, we get a look at the new weapon we finally get included with this. So the Eva Unit 0 and the Unit 1 both included the same weapons, just only having the progressive knives and the pellet rifle. But this one has different knives, which I didn't know that the Unit 0 or Unit 2 had different knives. I never realized that or never noticed that, I guess. But it also comes with the Thunder Spear, which can fold up. So it has its folded up form there for just carrying, and then you can fold that out for actual use in combat. So that does look pretty cool. And then of course all the different hand options like we've seen with the other kits there as well. Let's go ahead and see what we got inside here. Obviously a whole bunch of red and 10 bags of runners and some stickers in there. We'll take a look at those in a minute, but first let's just have a look at our instruction manual. So this will should be pretty familiar. On the front here, just got that same image from the front of the box. On the back, just the marking guide where all the decals are going to go around on the main body, and then on the weapons and stuff as well there too. You got the color chart down there at the bottom. You got that all in Japanese and in English if you want to refer to that. Opening up to the front pages here, we've got a look at the parts list. So we got what looks like a couple of leftover parts from the C runner and a couple from the F runner. So you'll have a few little leftover parts, but not that much all in all. And it starts getting into the construction, but you do have another little blurb here: a crimson humanoid decisive weapon that holds a beast within. Yeah, so you got some information here in Japanese and in English. Gotta say, in the Rebuild movies, I loved the transformation in the second Rebuild movie when Mario was piloting it, but I really did not like the cat transformation in the third movie. I do like the third movie in general, but didn't really care for that. That just seemed a little too like anime fan service for me. Down here a little bit more about the entry plug and umbilical cable there. That section though is all in Japanese, no English for that. And a little bit further on we do have another section here with some more photos and text about the weapons, but this set one again also just only in Japanese. So that is, I think, going to be pretty much it. As we get towards the back here, it's just kind of how to mount and equip the weapons, stuff like that. So here is the sticker sheet for this. We got a bunch of these little chrome ones for around like in the body, and then on the knife blades, this big one here for covering the entry plug. Never knew that Asuka's entry plug had a big zigzag on it. And you got these little green ones there which go on the hands, on like the front knuckle on the hands. And then a bunch more little caution markings that'll go around on the kit, as we've seen with the previous ones in the line. These don't really look very good on the kit, but I'll put some on so we can get a sense of those. You got the black cable here for the umbilical cable. Runner A is not a big 4-color runner like you would expect. It's just this one little runner here of some red parts. And then runner B1 here, larger runner, but it's still just only a bunch of red parts here for the armor. And then B2 is some parts here in yellow. Runner C in that dark gunmetal color here for the interior parts. And then some more of that here on runner D as well. Runner E is getting into some of the white parts for the white accents on the kit. Then we've got runners F1 and F2, which are both these little runners here, F1 being in that dark gunmetal color and runner F2 being in red. Runner G1, a few more parts here in white. Runner G2, a few more parts here in red. Runner H1, some parts here in yellow for the knuckles on the hands. Runner H2 in this light beige tan color for the bottoms of the feet and a couple parts there in the middle of the back. Runner I1 here in brown for the parts around the neck, and then one part there in the rifle there as well. And then runner I2, some more parts here in yellow. And then runner J is the part for our entry plug over here in white. In dark green, you got the parts up there for the rifle. And in the dark gray, you got a couple more parts there for the rifle and entry plug at the bottom. And then in that light bluish gray color, all the parts there for the hands. Runner K here, some parts in molded silver for the umbilical cable attachment piece. And then runner L is this clear red part there for the core. Then runner N here, we got some more of that kind of dark gunmetal, but in a very nice satiny finish on those parts, and then some more yellow down here at the bottom. Runner O, some more parts in red, some more parts in yellow, and a couple more parts there in green for the symbols on the shoulders. Runner Q, some more hand parts down there in that light bluish gray, and then in an even lighter bluish gray kind of color there's the parts for the new weapon. We got some more red parts and some more yellow parts on here as well. Runner R1, our new green parts for the eyes. Runner R2, a couple of new orange parts for the head and crotch. Runner S, some more white parts for around basically on the head. Runner T1, some new weapons parts here in the dark gunmetal. And finally, runner T2, some more light bluish gray parts here for the weapons. So for those of you keeping track at home, that's the 25 runners in here. Now, a lot of them were the really small ones there, of course, but as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here for these kits. So there's a lot of beautiful color separation to make these look really, really nice just straight out the box. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this built up, and then we'll see how she looks. All right, here is the kit all built up, and I gotta say, for basically the third time building this kit, most of the kit is the same, so it was not as exciting as experience building it now for the third time. Still a fantastic kit, and it was certainly the easiest time I've had building the kit. Both the first and the second time I built this kit, kind of the torso, it's a little bit kind of tricky, complex construction there for the torso. This time though, I kind of did it kind of without a hitch. I didn't have any problems, so that's good. And I only really put a couple of the stickers on there for you guys this time. I feel like, I've talked about this in the past couple of reviews already, and I didn't need to really enforce it too much more in this video. But the stickers on this kit, not great. They've, like some of the smaller ones, at least they fit on there well enough. You're not going to have like bubbles in them, but any of those details, any of the stickers that go over details or anything like that, so not going to be fitting down super well. And any sticker decals that go onto anything other than the white parts are going to be really visible, the outline of the stickers, and there's like not really any of them that go on the white parts. Most of them are on the red or the black parts, and so they're going to be very visible and not really looking great on this kit. So hopefully someday in the future, Bandai will put out at least one or maybe a series of waterside decal sets for these RG Eva kits. I can definitely imagine them doing that, and just fingers crossed that they will, but in the meantime, we don't know if that's ever going to happen actually or not, so I guess we'll have to wait. And one other note on the stickers too, while we were going through the unboxing portion, I estimated that those little green circle stickers were for the hands. Actually, all those little tiny, very kind of hard to see, but they're actually red little stickers there are for that little tiny little circle detail on the first knuckle of the hands. Good luck putting those on. Those really are just pretty terrible. Those green ones are actually for the eyes. Now the eyes are actually molded in green, but you have option parts for those. You have a set of those parts that are not molded in separate parts. So actually there for the eyes, you can see like there's the white and green, and then the red and green. Those are separate parts that put together. So there's some really tiny parts, but if you prefer not to have separate parts, you have just option parts here that you can use, which are just one solid part. And then you could use the stickers for those if you wanted to make those like in the metallic green like you have on the sticker sheet, or you could paint those separately, or whatever you want to do that. But here we'll focus on the head, as that's the main different part of this, whereas the rest of the kit, I won't go through all the articulation in this review because the rest of the kit is all pretty much exactly the same, and I've gone over the articulation in the past reviews, and you guys will see. I'll do some action poses and stuff and all that you guys will be able to see about the articulation. The articulation of these kits is great, but focusing here on the head, I did have a little trouble putting the head together on this because you have to like build it up in stacks. So you build it up in layers, like this bottom layer, and then you have the red parts, then you put the white parts stack on top of that, and the red stack, and then you get white stack again, red stack, and then you have orange parts there go on last. But just like the way those parts all fit together, they're really tiny little parts, and they have to fit together pretty tightly, and so like you're putting them together, you have to push them really hard to get them together, but you don't want to push too hard because they're really tiny and fragile. You don't want them to break, so it was a little bit tricky putting the head together, but finally I got it. And now, as you'll notice, the jaw is a little bit loose on mine. The mouth opens up. It looks really weird. I really don't like how the open mouth looks on this. It looks so strange. I wish, like I said before, that the face opened up to have like the eyes inside there, but now I see after putting the head together that for how tiny those parts are, I mean, they did it with the crossbone RG kit, which was also really tiny, so doing something like that with this guy, I think maybe possibly would have been possible, but I can understand why they didn't do that. So anyway, the jaw is a little bit loose and that kind of tends to plop down, but as long as you keep that closed, it looks a lot better. The head articulation, like I said, is going to be the same as with the previous kit, so it'll go down and up to there, so you have some nice articulation there in the neck for that. But like I said, I won't go through the rest of the articulation for this. This kit does not come with knives that store up in the shoulders, but you do have those as leftover parts. They're not used with this kit. So if you did want to display that, you could use these old ones. And you do also have the open form of those, which again are leftover parts. They're not meant to be used with this kit, but you could use them if you want. The actual holding hands specifically for those are also leftover parts you have for the left and the right. If you did end up wanting to use those, you can. But what we have here with this kit is some new knives, as we saw in the manual. So the design of these is pretty cool. So these are just a little bit different from the ones we had in the two previous kits. So I like that we have something different with this kit finally. Because what we do also have here, once again, while this is a really great weapon, the pellet rifle here, it's just the same thing that we've already seen in the past two kits, so it's nothing new. It's a great weapon, but I do like that this does come with some new knives at least, and then also the new weapon here. The Thunder Spear is pretty nice here. Now I did put this little sticker there on the bottom, but this is just molded in, so a couple of tones of colors there, as you can see, and it's pretty nice. So this part extends out like that, and this part here flips out at the front, so it does get to be pretty long at its full length, and you have that really nice little separate part in there for the blade. So the details and the actual gimmick of this working and the color separation on this weapon are nice, so I'm really glad that we finally got a new weapon here included with this kit, and aside with the knives as well too, so new weapons, I guess. Otherwise, just like the previous kits, you do also have the umbilical cable that just plugs onto the back as normal. This section here will plug down onto an action base for you, and then it's a really nice strong cable. And as I mentioned before, I actually tend to find this to be a little bit too strong. When you have this plugged into the back of your kit there, and then it plugged into the base, this wire is actually stronger than the ability for the kit to like stand up on its own. So you have to kind of pose the wire and how it's meant to be first, because then like when you let go of the kit, you'll find that the wire, if it's not posed in like just right, the wire will actually push the kit over because it's a little bit too strong. But I do prefer that to be too strong rather than too weak, so I guess it's not too bad. Just be careful when you're posing the kit. And again, this is the same as with the past kits, but just to show you again briefly how the entry plug section here opens on the back. You lift that part up, you need to point the head down. This little flap opens up here as well too. And then your entry plug is there, and you can pull that out. And there is a sticker that wraps around the entry plug, but again, it just looks terrible. It doesn't really fit on there really well, and I wouldn't recommend putting that sticker on and then popping that in there, because then it'll be kind of tight. The sticker will get all jacked up, and it just wouldn't be a fun time, so don't mess around with that, I would say. But that is still a pretty cool function, how that works there for the entry plug on the back. Then the last thing to go over then would be all the hands, and we've got a whole bunch of them with this kit. So you got the closed fist, which I've got on the kit there. We've also got a set of these flat, either like kind of running or karate chopping kind of style hands. We've got a set of these just kind of open resting hands, or it could be kind of like rifle support hands maybe. These other open hands, which I think will probably be better for a sort of rifle support hand. I think these were also the hands that were used for the AT field opening gimmick of the RG01, but you've got these style open hands as well too. And then one more set of open hands with these extended fingers, very expressive open hands here too, which are really great. For holding hands, we've got these new ones, which are going to be specifically for the new knives for these kits. You got those for the left and the right. Then you've got your holding hands with the trigger finger extended there for our rifles, and those are going to be for the left and the right. And then we have one more holding hand, which looks very goofy because you got this huge opening in that, and you may wonder what the heck is that for. And this is actually for holding on to the Thunder Spear here on the handle there. So if you want to hold on to that handle, which is quite large, you need to use this hand for that. So that plugs onto there like so, and it's a really good grip on that. So that's pretty cool. So you can just carry that along, tote that along, rather than actually hanging onto the handle. Just have that holding on to the top of that, which does look pretty cool. So that's nice to be as an additional part to be included with this. I like that. So I gotta say, man, it is definitely really great to finally have the team here all together now. Going forward, will Bandai make some more RG Eva kits aside from just like the main three? Probably, and I think we've had kind of some hints about that, them possibly making an Eva, I think 04, I think was the one that they kind of teased, and it's probably going to end up coming out as a P-Bandai kit or something like that, probably in the future. But at least the main three are now here, and you can put them all together, and they look great together. So if you're an Eva fan, definitely these make for an awesome set, an awesome display in between them. And like I said, I do kind of wish that the previous two kits would have come with something else, a variety. I wish that like every single kit had like the main weapons of the knives and the pellet rifle, and then you had one other like specific weapon like to each kit, like we have here with the RG Unit 2. I wish we would have had like something specific to the RG Unit 1 and specific to the RG Unit 0 as well too. Would have been cool. Of course, you have the DX versions that come with theirs, kind of specific stuff there. The DX versions of the kits, I would say, generally are not super that recommended. The sniper rifle that comes with the DX version of the Eva Unit 0 was really cool, especially if you really want to recreate that scene. The transport platform with the Eva Unit 1 was kind of less impressive. It was not really all that great, to be honest. So I'm not really too disappointed they didn't do a DX set here of the 02, although I think it would have been a cool opportunity to include that massive shield as well too. And we may see that out in some future release, and some like they could end up doing like a P-Bandai set for these, where it's just like a set of like the shield and a bunch of other weapons and stuff, accessories and things that you could do. That you can use with these kits, and just release that all as one big set. I think that would be really cool if they ended up doing that, but I have no idea if that's what they're going to end up doing, and probably not. I think that's just a wishful thinking on my part. But this kit definitely is a great addition to the line. If you're not a super fan, you know, and you've got your Eva Unit 1 already, then maybe you're not that super hyped to get another one of them. But it's definitely a really great kit. It's going to be building mostly the same kit again, so if that doesn't excite you, if you don't really like that, kind of where you're building the same kit all over again, that is understandable. But when you've got two or all three of these all together, they do definitely look great. So this kit on its own or in a set is definitely going to be a great addition to your guys' collection. And I think these kits, you know, should be, if you do plan on painting them, well, you don't really need to. The color separation on them is really great, even if you don't end up wanting to paint it. Just building up straight out of the box, they're going to look fantastic. But if you do want to paint it, I think painting these up should actually be a relatively easy job as well too, because they don't really have much in the way of seam lines. There's not really anything on them really, actually. Except maybe like the elbow and knee joints have seams on those, like on the inside of there, but that's pretty minor. And so these should be relatively simple and pretty straightforward, fun kits to paint up if you want to paint them up, you know, in their official colors, or do some custom colors for them. That could be pretty fun as well too. So that is going to just about do it here for my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for your support, whether it be liking the video, commenting, subscribing, all that is also greatly appreciated, guys. So thank you so much for that, and as always, thank you to USA Gundam Store as well too for making it all possible. So like I said, you guys can check the link to USA Gundam Store there down below. Use my coupon code there, save some money off this kit and everything else there on the website. And you know, fingers crossed for more RG Eva kits in the future, but until then, I'm looking forward to the RG Zeong coming up next. That'll be a lot of fun in January when that's coming out. But until the next video, guys, hope you're all having a great day. I'll see you later. Bye bye.